Welcome back to our channel where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today we bring you some news, Camilla's TV comment about Charlotte backfires, secret meeting and apology revealed, Queen Camilla's unsolicited remark to Princess Charlotte during a live charity broadcast incited public indignation and prompted discourse inside the royal family. A grandmother's succinct, kind ad-lib to her granddaughter on camera initiated talks, strategic communication decisions, secret sessions, and a meticulously planned reconciliation. The dialogue occurred during a BBC program advocating a new phase of the King's Literacy Initiative for Youth, a topic with which the Queen has long been associated. In the following days, Buckingham Palace and Clarence House orchestrated a systematic response that including a provisional reassignment of public duties, private correspondence to relevant individuals, and a calculated effort to realign the charity's objectives. Royal analysts have since identified the incident as an illustration of the monarchy's adaptation to the rapidity of contemporary media, the incessancy of social platforms, and evolving public expectations on the conduct of senior members, particularly with the family's youngest members. The engagement was unpretentious and understated. The organizers aimed for an informal tone to clarify royal participation and highlight grassroots objectives. On a Sunday, producers filmed it on the grounds of Clarence House in tranquil autumn light to impart a cozy ambiance to the presentation. The relaxed production used in-person visits, virtual connections, concise pre-recorded segments, and live chat to optimize outreach while preserving intimacy. Strategic design. The King has endorsed a literacy initiative aimed at fostering early childhood reading and demonstrating familial commitment to children's education. To render the event less formal and more like to a social gathering, a grandmother, parents, and children exchanged experiences in a live conversational format. Queen Camilla on a wooden seat with organizers, volunteers, and local educators for the garden presentation. Prince William, engaged with other commitments in Windsor, participated via a live video link. The producers, in collaboration with the Prince's office and the Queen's communications team, asked Princess Charlotte to briefly join the live broadcast alongside her father to provide a child's perspective to the campaign. Charlotte's participation underscored the initiative's principal argument that early storytelling cultivates creativity and empathy, hence influencing children's character and social consciousness. To ensure a seamless live connection, the production team meticulously practiced transitions and signals, including domestic settings such as Windsor's living room and the garden table at Clarence House, along with scattered literature. The component was clear and well organized. Princess Charlotte, just having celebrated her 10th birthday, was required to articulate the title of her preferred book to symbolize the campaign. Charlotte shares a passion for reading with her grandmother, the founder of the Queen's Reading Room charity. The organizers said that the princess devoted that morning to rehearsing her brief statement to align with the broadcast's time frame while preserving an authentic tone. The production team assessed camera angles and eye lines to alleviate pressure on Charlotte, and her dialogue was concise to avoid overwhelming her with extended interaction. Queen Camilla started the performance by emphasizing the importance of storytelling in early childhood development, referencing known research on language acquisition and emotional literacy. She emphasized the importance of early book introductions and the influence of intergenerational shared reading experiences. Her presentation praised the subtle enchantment of parents reading aloud to children and acknowledged the contributions of volunteers, local libraries, and school initiatives. Following the MC's announcement of live video, a screen in the gardens transitioned to the Windsor feed, showing Prince William and Princess Charlotte in a domestic setting. Both individuals exhibited politeness and maintained smiles throughout the first exchanges. The host welcomed them and requested Charlotte to disclose her favorite book. Princess Charlotte greeted the audience with composure. "Good afternoon," she said with the precision and composure that have become her hallmark. She subsequently read My favorite novel is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, since it conveys that kindness may prevail even when others doubt its possibility. C.S. Lewis's seminal work on courage, empathy, and ethical growth reinforced the campaign's theme and used terminology relatable to parents and educators. The garden audience cheered the brief, poignant interlude, and the MC remarked on how a child's perspective can reinforce the campaign's purpose and remind adults of the significance of early childhood reading. As Queen Camilla approached the camera and said, "Oh, that is beautiful, sweetie," she seemed to be attempting to infuse a grandmotherly, spontaneous element. "Perhaps your nanny aided you in formulating that response." The on-site crew host and small broadcast audience chuckled. This playful remark may be overlooked in several close family environments, an attempt to seem endearingly familiar and little impudent. The event reverted to the informal tone the organizers had expected when attendees saw the remark as a benign attempt at humor. Crew members then communicated to colleagues that the remark was a domestic comment consistent with the Queen's traditional gentle teasing of young individuals. Nevertheless, beyond the garden, the reaction was different. The camera momentarily captured Princess Charlotte's exposed expression as the technical direction reverted to the Windsor stream. She stopped smiling and glanced at her father. A lifetime of public duty has trained Prince William's face to display restraint. He clenched his teeth and focused his stare. Observers and media commentators would identify the micro-expression as the juncture at which the planned levity of the discussion got more challenging. Broadcast recording techniques have made that instantaneous moment available to everyone, with clipping skills exposing it to selective framing amplified by social media. Recorded transmissions disseminate the event rapidly. Social media platforms rapidly circulated concise video footage of the event. The concise film was accessible, however, visual cues such as the waning smile, Papa's stare, and casual laughter imparted a narrative quality. Public opinion divided swiftly. Certain onlookers saw the Queen's participation as affectionate intergenerational repartee. Critics deemed the words condescending, diminishing the little princess on a national stage. Readers' disputes reflected societal debates on class authority and civic responsibilities. The footage decelerated, re-edited, coupled with commentary, and accompanied by provocative subtitles intensified polarity. Within hours, headlines and social media posts proclaimed Queen Camilla mocked Princess Charlotte on live television. Due to the propensity of social media to favor emotionally charged content interpretations of the incident that highlighted perceived offense and impropriety proliferated, transforming the episode from a mere broadcast jest into a national discourse. Influencers and commentators with substantial followings participated, sometimes amplifying speculative viewpoints, and algorithmic dynamics ensured that once the narrative gained traction, mainstream newspapers could not overlook it. Windsor experienced the public's swift outcry. Prince William, experienced in managing public relations, felt the situation poignant as it pertained to his child. He promptly transitioned from assessing reputational implications to considering Charlotte's emotional well-being. Her potential embarrassment, the likelihood of her internalizing the interaction, the possibility of peers teasing her, and the potential impact of the episode on her perception of public life. Charlotte purportedly sought solace in solitude. Later that evening, she inquired of her father, "Why did she make that remark about me, Papa?" He required no assistance. The inquiry highlighted the dilemma. His daughter's response was authentic and necessitated attention. The statements articulated the apprehensions of other parents over children's comprehension of adult remarks at critical moments. According to insiders, William's initial response was composed. He conveyed to his daughter that adults occasionally make inadvertent remarks, that individuals sometimes attempt humor but fail, and that it is essential to be candid about feelings. Following this reassurance, he and his advisors deliberated on the adequacy of a private discussion, whether Charlotte would benefit from diminished public visibility, and which communication strategy would most effectively alleviate long-term repercussions. William's team devised scenarios weighing the imperative to protect a child against the risk of exacerbating royal tensions. Personnel from Clarence House apprised the Queen of the online backlash. Her private secretary provided a summary of public sentiment, indicating a rise in critical commentary, including posts that characterized the remark as disparaging, alongside feedback from parents and child psychologists, asserting that public reprimands or diminishment of children even in jest can adversely affect self-esteem. The Queen has cultivated a formidable public persona and media acumen over decades. Sources indicate she was taken aback by the number of individuals who perceived her spontaneous remark as hurtful rather than humorous. She regarded the comments as a grandmotherly jest, not an affront. She contemplated how a statement intended for a limited audience had been rapidly disseminated to a broader platform with diverse interpretative lenses. By dawn, the discourse had transitioned from social media to mainstream outlets. News agencies characterized the encounter as a tense moment and speculated on familial discord, generational differences in royal representation, and whether it indicated a broader rift in expectations between older and younger monarchs. The vigorous coverage of the exchange eclipsed the broadcast's philanthropic objectives. Advisors from Buckingham Palace and Clarence House deliberated on subsequent actions. Some recommended silence to allow the news cycle to dissipate, while others advocated for proactive engagement to avoid appearing indifferent to public concerns. This internal debate reflected media management strategies. Should an organization endure a narrative with composure or counter it with swift public intervention? The Princess of Wales, recognized for safeguarding her children's privacy and mental well-being, reportedly initiated internal discussions. She and Prince William deliberated on reducing Charlotte's public visibility to mitigate media attention and shield her from further examination. This action was taken to protect the young girl and demonstrate their commitment. Some perceived the decision as an affirmation of the event's importance, while others regarded it as a prudent parental strategy. In periods of public scandal, educators and child development experts recommended that the Princess of Wales and her family offer their children private reassurance and consistent stability. Prince William believed that a private apology might be insufficient. If unaddressed, the live broadcast of the exchange and its online discourse could shape the family's response. He sought a proportional and substantive resolution that would distinctly prioritize Charlotte's well-being, avoiding unnecessary escalation or punitive actions that could further harm relationships. The aim was to prevent the resolution from becoming another spectacle that might rekindle public interest. He desired a pragmatic and temporary solution to mend connections discreetly. Insiders report that he contacted Queen Camilla with honesty and restraint. Rather than attributing blame, he emphasized the repercussions of the comment, his daughter's worry regarding the Queen's suggestion that she needed help, and his conviction that royal children, despite their visibility, require emotional support. He employed the phrase thin armor to illustrate that ceremonial transparency does not equate to emotional apathy, a metaphor widely discussed. The prince underscored that the focus was more on the outcome than the intention. All parties experienced harm. The callers characterized his tone as paternalistic, yet aware of institutional implications. Sources familiar with the discourse indicated that the Queen acknowledged William's concerns. She reiterated that her remark was intended as a light-hearted jest, expressed regret over its misinterpretation, and conveyed worry that it distressed a young individual. When presented to a national audience, a casual, familial jest may acquire a level of significance and scrutiny absent in the private context. The Queen demonstrated grace and reflection, recognizing that a disparaging comment warranted consideration regardless of her intentions. There was resistance to an official declaration. Detractors might depict a formal apology as an acknowledgement of significant wrongdoing which unsettled the Queen, who has traditionally prioritized dignity and resisted media influence. She underscored her enduring dedication to charitable organizations and her affection for her grandchildren while expressing discomfort with an institutional withdrawal in reaction to press hostility. William argued that the extent of dissemination necessitated a public acknowledgement or operational strategy to recalibrate the narrative. A private apology would fail to resonate with the multitude who had witnessed the footage and formed an opinion on the matter. King Charles, counseled by his son, and in proximity to the Queen, engaged in a nuanced dialogue. He navigated the intricacies of familial honor, grandchildren, and institutional reputation. Cognizant of the imperative to present a cohesive family facade, the king pledged to confer with the Queen and pursue a mediated resolution that would honor personal sensitivities while safeguarding the monarchy's public perception. He orchestrated challenging exchanges as both parent and sovereign. The king purportedly emphasized temperance and prudence, advocating for a resolution that would not intensify the situation. Simultaneously, the palace communications team devised a response strategy, presenting three primary options: to issue a concise, clarifying statement via official channels to directly address the misunderstanding, to abstain from comment while orchestrating a series of public appearances to convey familial solidarity, or to maintain silence presuming that public interest would eventually wane. Each option carried inherent risks. A public address might be interpreted as an admission of regret or succumbing to public pressure. A sequence of family appearances could be perceived as contrived optics, and silence might be construed as indifference or neglecting the concerns of parents and children. Alongside a private apology and minor operational enhancements, the team simulated media responses for each scenario. Prince William and his advisors concluded that inaction was untenable, as opinion articles discussed generational disparities in royal behavior, child psychologists commented on public humiliation, and social media users divided into factions. A judicious response must consider Charlotte's private impact and the public discourse, he asserted. There must be moderation to avert escalation and transparency to demonstrate gravity. He recalled historical precedents and recognized that the institution's reputation relied equally on its management of domestic missteps as on formal crises. Upon reflection, William suggested a minor yet significant alteration to public responsibilities. A deliberate short-term reassignment of duties would demonstrate thoughtfulness without symbolic retribution. The proposal involved temporarily sidelining Queen Camilla from prominent national reading promotion initiatives. This strategic hiatus, rather than a punitive measure, permitted the campaign to proceed with a modified public representation while alleviating tensions. During this interval, the Princess of Wales, known for her philanthropic efforts in early childhood development and literacy, would publicly spearhead the campaign alongside Prince William. The king needed to sanction this modification as it affected the public perception of a royal initiative. Prince William conveyed to King Charles that the proposal served as a safeguard for Charlotte and was a prudent response to media dynamics. He emphasized the Queen's steadfast commitment to her charity. The postponement would merely shift public-facing events, allowing the family to focus on the current campaign without controversy. With careful consideration and respect for all parties involved, the king approved the measure following a protracted and seemingly emotional discussion. He articulated the decision to the Queen as an institutional necessity rather than a personal indictment. An official communiqué from Buckingham Palace and Clarence House affirmed the decision. The meticulously crafted announcement indicated that Queen Camilla would withdraw from public engagements associated with the National Reading Initiative for 3 months to enable the family to recalibrate following a recent misunderstanding. It lauded her foundational contributions to the charity and reiterated her dedication to its objectives while mentioning that the Princess of Wales would undertake additional responsibilities. The measured and courteous language conveyed that the decision was operational and temporary rather than punitive. The message sought to address parental apprehensions without overstating the circumstances and to protect the Queen's reputation. The announcement elicited prompt and varied reactions from the media and the public. Some newspapers characterized the alteration as a principled response to the broadcast statement commending Prince William for defending his daughter. Others interpreted it as evidence of a palace rift, speculating about strained relationships between domestic staff and the royals' public personas. Additionally, some argued that the reaction was excessive given the minor humorous nature of the error. Public responses ranged from sympathy for the parents' protective instincts to indignation that the Queen had been unjustly sidelined from an initiative she had helped develop and promote. Insiders reported that the Queen found the announcement distressing as it signified her departure from a national program to which she was personally devoted and in which she had invested considerable time and emotional energy. In the subsequent weeks, the palace executed the new public initiative. The Prince and Princess of Wales conducted an engaging reading session at a community library to underscore the campaign's objectives: children, literature, and reading. Images of William and Catherine reading in a circle with local children gained widespread attention, redirecting public focus to the charity. The photographs conveyed an informal connection and genuine engagement with youth, deliberately avoiding any semblance of contrived formality. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla made smaller community-oriented visits to and from Clarence House, with serene images circulating and some media outlets emphasizing the episode's human significance. The palace aimed to demonstrate a continuity of purpose and illustrate that the family had responded positively. Despite the superficial arrangements, family members recognized that a sustainable resolution necessitated an authentic private reunion between the Queen and Princess Charlotte. Queen Camilla consented to compose a handwritten note to her granddaughter and meet her discreetly to convey a sincere apology away from the scrutiny of cameras and media. The meeting was characterized by a modest and familiar setting, a limited guest list, and a tone that was both child-friendly and informal. The objective was to restore trust and facilitate a natural, unpressured dialogue rather than merely capturing a moment in time. The family emphasized the need to restrict public disclosures to safeguard the emotional integrity of the meeting from theatrical influences. A tranquil, non-royal communal area adjacent to Clarence House served as the venue for the private reconciliation typically reserved for local family gatherings. The Queen's visit was known only to a select few local families and organizers. She arrived unobtrusively carrying a children's book and a handcrafted envelope for her granddaughter. While Charlotte was meticulously prepared for the meeting, Prince William observed from a subtle distance. This deliberate arrangement allowed Charlotte to navigate the interaction at her own pace, ensuring a sense of security and normalcy to mitigate public apprehension. The Queen engaged with the children as a familiar visitor, eschewing formal titles and moderating her tempo. She read a picture book in an interactive manner, soliciting comments and questions to foster connection over hierarchy. During a natural pause, she discussed how adults may unintentionally cause harm and the importance of recognizing emotions. Subsequently, she read her letter to Princess Charlotte, wherein she expressed regret for her televised remark and earnestly sought Charlotte's forgiveness. She conveyed her appreciation for their friendship and pledged to exercise greater caution in the future. The heartfelt, humble letter represented a private endeavor to mend the relationship between grandmother and grandchild. Charlotte listened attentively, a characteristic observed during her public engagements. Following the Queen's reading, the atmosphere in the room became subdued. As other children began to move about and the ambiance lightened, the Queen presented Charlotte with a brief letter she had brought. Charlotte offered a faint smile upon reading it. It meant a lot, she stated subtly, alluding to a reunion founded on genuine sincerity rather than public display. The interaction was authentic and unpretentious, a human connection that transcended media embellishment, as noted by witnesses. Observers of the meeting asserted that the private apology and its delivery, marked by simplicity and emotional transparency, held greater significance than any public statement. As with many meetings, information was disclosed over time. Some media outlets characterized the meeting as a harmonious reconciliation, while others deemed it a strategy for damage control. However, for the participants, The confidential dialogue was crucial for progress. Following several weeks, the interim transfer of responsibilities persisted for 3 months, serving as a cooling-off period to mitigate public discourse. The Princess of Wales spearheaded prominent reading campaign initiatives, while the Queen engaged with communities and classrooms away from national media coverage. These more subdued appearances, which highlighted her warmth and personal interaction with local youth, ultimately softened public perception and depicted her as a compassionate elder rather than a figure who had publicly disparaged a child. The incident prompted a minor yet notable alteration in internal procedures. Prior to any public interaction with royal children, staff convened privately with adults advisors and production experts to assess the children's perceptions of the planned engagements. The central inquiry was, how will they perceive it? Evolved into a pragmatic tool to ensure that public-facing decisions considered the emotional exposure of the youngest family members. This child-centric approach represented a minor yet significant institutional shift, characteristic of the adaptations required by established organizations in response to contemporary standards and expectations. The process now incorporates staff training and enhanced briefing notes for media producers to prevent future miscommunications. Meticulously orchestrating a return to a public role after a 3-month hiatus, the Queen and Princess of Wales participated in a modest reading session to advocate for a collaboration between their community-oriented initiatives and literacy endeavors. Subtly prioritizing substance over spectacle and philanthropic objectives over personal reconciliation, the emphasis was placed on children's achievements and the program's pragmatic aims, characterizing the return as a revival of cooperation. Organizers aimed to redirect public focus towards positive outcomes rather than interpersonal discord by underscoring the campaign's tangible advantages, book donations, library collaborations, and reading events. A casual on-air remark did not result in significant title removals or an irrevocable familial rupture. Rather, there was a temporary reassignment of public duties, a meticulously composed joint statement, a private and intimate reconciliation, and a minor institutional adjustment prioritizing the family's children. The incident underscored enduring tensions the monarchy must address in contemporary society, the necessity of maintaining tradition and dignity while addressing public concerns. The imperative to safeguard family members' privacy while recognizing public interest, and the difficulty of balancing ceremonial responsibilities with the emotional needs of children raised in extraordinary circumstances. Alongside personnel and procedural modifications, the incident illuminated media dynamics and evolving public expectations. Even seasoned public servants must evaluate the private and public ramifications of their statements in an environment where a fleeting remark can be extracted, recontextualized, and amplified within moments. The occurrence also highlighted the emergence of child-centric rhetoric in public discourse, particularly within formal and reserved organizations. The family's protective child-first strategy demonstrated parental instinct and institutional awareness, indicating that safeguarding children necessitated both private reassurances and public measures to manage perception and mitigate harm. Private emotional healing was paramount for individuals intimately affected by the issue. Handwritten correspondence, unexpected gatherings, and the Queen engaging in reading sessions with children had more significance than public statements. Concurrently, the palace's little procedural adjustment. How will this be seen by them? The term check-in offers a pragmatic framework that is likely to influence future engagements and illustrates how established organizations can embrace contemporary standards while maintaining their core functions. Palace courtiers and communications teams will certainly analyze this case as a model of crisis management that integrated nurturing oversight, institutional prudence, and a minor yet significant operational adjustment. The discourse surrounding royal life social media, public expectations, and familial dynamics ensures the event's continued relevance. It prompted a recalibration to protect a child, uphold dignity, and maintain the monarchy's capacity to stabilize the populace. The sequence underscored that sensitivity and prompt communication are as vital as etiquette and tradition in an era of heightened scrutiny. The scandal imparted lessons to the royal family regarding communication empathy and the protection of their younger members as they assume public responsibilities. Consequently, they opted for a hiatus, issued private apologies, and implemented minor adjustments to operational practices. They recognized that the institution's enduring strength relies equally on its treatment of children in public and its ceremonial conduct in more significant matters. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for the time being.